What's up, B? All right. Here doing this. Oh, wait a minute. Let me make sure my volume. You hear that noise? Is the machine that I have? Okay. I just want to make sure that my volume was high enough. Just leave it like that. Let me turn this around. Yeah. So I just want to just come and talk. I have a link in the description boxes, guys. I'm doing research on the slave trade and how all of the other nations, like the Europeans and the nation of France, came in and tried to push their agenda upon the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and the and the Creole, from Haitian, and how they changed they tried to come and strip the Haitian people, or the so-called Haitians, of their culture. You see what I'm saying? They gave Haitian a name called that. The word Haitian comes from hell, which means the people over in Haiti now is going through hell right now, and they was in the bottom of the chains of hell when the Europeans came over in this country and tried to conquer it. And I think in 14 something, 90 something, somewhere in there. I keep forgetting, but I want to make sure I have the date. But I know it's somewhere up in there. And then they came and they went to they just went all over the world, and then they tried to influence their cult. They did a good job and succeeded at doing it. The nation of France, because the nation of France, that's why you got French Creole, and that's why you got French Haitian Creole. That's why you got French Haitian Creole, because all these other cultures came in and they started mixing over here, and they wanted to mix and mingle. They wanted to breed with the real Israelites and stuff of that nature. And that's another thing. That's when they wanted to come in and start putting their false images into play, and started. They just wanted the people, us as a people of color, is to be totally docile when it comes to our real heritage, our real lineage, and docile when it comes to our culture. Because you know that we, as a people of color, we were stripped of our culture. You see what I'm saying? We were stripped of our nationality, culture, and everything. And this is the reason why we, as a people of color, is calling ourselves, named after two white men. We call ourselves African American, and we are no African American. The so-called white man, white supremacy, is the one that gave us that name. You see what I'm saying? So stop calling yourself an African American. So what can I name the video? Let's talk about our history as the real people of color. Let's talk about our biblical history as the people of color. So I'm gonna have to go back in and change the name. Let's talk and have a real biblical, and let's talk and have a real. Wait a minute, what did I say? Let's talk about our real biblical history as people of color. Let's talk about our real. Um, let's talk about our history as a people of color. That's what it is. Let's talk about our history as a people of color. Yes. So if you look at this link, they got a link right here. It tells us how. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Just excuse me a minute. Yeah. You will see how. You know what I'm saying, because I've been trying to look into more of talking about what does Creole mean. You see what I'm saying? So we have to be careful what we attach ourselves to. Hold on. So what I'm gonna do, I just put the link to what I'm talking about now, or what I'm trying to bring out to you now, I put it in the description box. So it's called Louisiana Creole People, Wikipedia. This is like a encyclopedia. You see what I'm saying? Louisiana Creole people, French Creole descends, Spanish Creole descends, are people or persons described from the inhabitation of Colon, Louisiana during the period of both French and Spanish rule. The term Creole was originally used by French settlers to distinguish persons born in Louisiana from those born in the mother country or elsewhere, as in many other colon scientists around the world. Creole was a term used to mean those who were native born, especially the native born Europeans, such as the French and the Spanish. See, all of this here, and that was the purpose and the aim of Europeans, so the so-called the original Neanderthal white folks, white supremacists, is that they wanted to come in and they wanted to mix their culture in, and the more they of the culture that they mixed in with our language, with our everything, what it does, it exalts and it overstate our real culture, and that's how we become stripped of our nationality. That's how we became niggers and coons and African American and all that kind of stuff. Because when you name yourself a white man, I mean, when you name yourself an African American, you're naming yourself after two white men. That's where you get Africa was named after two white men, because you have to remember that a lot of our African people went into they fled from their original homeland Israel, because the Romans took and ran the real Jews out of Jerusalem in 70 AD. And a lot of our people had to flee and run and flee to Africa in 70 AD. They fled and went to Africa in 70 AD. And guess what happened to our people of color as they fled and went into Africa? Because their culture was stolen, their language was stolen, and everything. So what happened was the so-called the real Africans, who are not the real Jew, they sold the Hebrew, they sold us to the so-called white man, and that's how we end up being bought over here on those cargo slave ships. Our ancestors was bought over here on them cargo slave ships and stuff, and this is how we got Catholicism, Roman Catholic. This is where that religion came in at, and it overstated our real godly identity. You see what I'm saying? And this is the reason why, according to this in Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 37, I'm gonna find it, I'm gonna read it to you. Now, you have to understand that this Bible is a history book. It's not a religious book. It's a history book. You know, it has everything about us in here. So your so-called ministers or whoever that is, they not really telling us this here. And we have to be asking ourselves why these people are not telling us these things. Because see, I try to do my research every day as much as possible. We got to do our research, people. Deuteronomy 28 and verses 37. Look what it says. And thou shalt become a astonishment. Astonishment means all of that. We're going to be astonishment to all the other nations when they look at us, because we are the only people at the bottom, is what it's saying. And thou shalt become an astonishment and a proverb and a byword amongst all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee. You see what I'm saying? That means that because we were sold to our enemies, we became these niggers, coons, sambos, all that stuff, African American, and all that kind of stuff. Thou shalt carry much seed out in the field, and shall gather but little, and for the locusts shall consume it. Okay, now let's go back up to Deuteronomy chapter 28, 36. The Lord shall bring thee and thy kings, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have not known. There shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. And that's what verse 37, where it said, we will be scattered amongst all nations. That means that's why the Most High said that he had to go and gather us from all the other so-called nations who call themselves the Israelites are the real Jews, but they're not the real Jew, according to Revelation 2:9. He said, I know the blasphemy of them will say, he said, I know thy poverty and thy tribulation. I know what you're going through. He's talking about the real Jews, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He said, I know, because we are the only people that are at the bottom. And all these other nations is ruling over us. So those are our enemies. So when we want water, we want driver's license, when we want all of that, guess who we have to go to get that? We have to go to our enemy to get it. You know who's supporting the funds and food stamps and all that kind of stuff? Our enemy. We have to go to our enemy to get these things. You see what I'm saying? So we are at the right now. We as a nation are at the bottom right now. You see what I'm saying? Because, and this is what happened. Listen at what the Most High said right here in Deuteronomy 28:1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt diligently hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments which I commanded thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth, and all these blessings shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, blessed shall thou be in the city, blessed shall thou be in the field. That means, you know what I mean? Well, we was cursed. Blessed shall thou be in the fruit of thy body. That means that your womb, your children, your offspring, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, and the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Blessed shall be thy basket in thy storehouse. You know we're cursed, right? That means we go in the storehouses and stuff like that in our basket. That means in our boat we put food. It seems like, have you ever seen like you go and you make grocery and it just seems like that little grocery's gone? Have y'all ever noticed that? Our grocery seems like, man, I paid $100 and some for this hand. It just seems like you don't get nothing for your money no more. And then you have little. You see what I'm saying? But I'm gonna show you the real reason why all this stuff has happened to us. Let's look at verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I commanded thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Do y'all know that the Most High sent our enemies against us because we have disobeyed the Most High? We made God angry, and then he turned around and guess what he did? He said, I'm going to send your enemy against you. This is the reason why. That's why we're getting shot down in the street. That's why we're not doing, because we have actually disobeyed the Most High. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be when thou in the field. That means you won't be blessed when you grow your crops. None of that. Cursed shall be thy basket in thy storehouse. You know what that means? That means that when we go in the store, we spend, let's say you go in there and you spend $100, right? And you buy something, and it just seems like when you make like, it ain't no such thing today as $100 for grocery, because you don't get but about 5 or 6 things. It just seemed like, man, that little bit, it just seemed, because back in the day, think about it. When we was, before we was under this curse, and we was going to the store and all that kind of stuff, you could take $10 and live off of $10 for a whole month. Nowadays, you can't even live off of $100 in one day. You see what I'm saying? Because we are cursed. Cursed shall be thy basket in thy storehouse. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, and the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Cursed shall thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shall thou be when thou goest out. The Lord shall send upon thee curses and vexation and rebuke, and all that thou settest thy hand unto, for to do unto thou be destroyed, until thou perish quickly because of the wickedness of thy doing, whereby thou hast forsaken me. See, the purpose of that, he said, we have forsaken him. You see what I'm saying? And he said he will consume us off the land. You see what I'm saying? So that's why we're cursed when we go in the store and make grocery, we gather little. He said, cursed should I be the basket of thy storehouse. You know, when we go to the store, we get very little for our money. Y'all know this. And guess what? We are the only people that are at the bottom. Just like, why you think them Arabs and them Vietnamese and them Chineses and Chinamans can come over here and set up stores and businesses in our neighborhood, and we are the only people as the Hebrew Israelites are at the bottom? You have to ask yourself that question. They put the Mexicans in one category. They put the black people in the Mexicans, all the so-called blacks and so-called Hispanics in the same category. You see what I'm saying? That's why you think we live in the lowest of neighborhood. We're at the lowest poverty rate. We are the only nations that are at the bottom, and they trying to say that we are all equal and we are all this, but we're not equal. And we're over here now. We're not even in our own homeland. We are in our we are on stolen property. This land that we're living on stolen property, stolen property. Deuteronomy 28 and 49. This is what he said. And the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. You see what I'm saying? So he said that he will send other nations against us, like all them other nations, our enemies and stuff. You see what I'm saying? And look what it said in verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee amongst all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have not known, wood and stone. You know who thy fathers have not known? It's talking about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Because if you go back in Genesis 15, and I think it's verse 16, I believe, or 17, it tells you, says that, and thou shalt afflict them, and they shall serve, they shall put thee in bondage, and they shall afflict them 400 years. See, all this was prophesied that our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which is the 12 patriarchs, 12 tribes of the children of Israel, would go into slavery because of our disobedience to the Most High. You see what I'm saying? And that's why we over here getting shot down in the streets. That's why this so-called white man, which is the devil, is ruling over us right now. You see what I'm saying? But when he set us back in our own land, when we take rulership, we're going to turn around in essence, and we're going to rule our enemy. We're going to rule over our oppressors. We're going to go and hunt for them. And if they don't do what we say do, then we're going to be able to just do whatever we want to them. Take them out, hurt them, and kill them, and do all this stuff like they did us. This is a future prophecy. This is Bible prophecy. You see what I'm saying? So we have to, come back to our nationality. That's the whole thing. Turn back unto him and follow his commandments and listen to him, and you know what I mean, and stuff like that. Because he said that we will never see our homeland again. Because look what he said. How did we come over here to this so-called America, the so-called white America? Look what it said right here. And in Deuteronomy 28 and 68, and the Lord shall bring thee unto Egypt again with ships. See that? We came over here on carnal slave ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. That means we will never see our homeland again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies. We were sold to our he said we will be sold unto our enemies. For bondmen, that means slave men. Bondmen means slave men. And bond women, that means slave women. And no man shall buy you. Guess what that means? That means that Malcolm X couldn't redeem us. They tried. Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, all of them tried to come over here and redeem us out of the situation. The only person that is saying will be able to redeem us out of this situation is the Black Messiah. Not no white boy. It ain't no white boy. No such thing as no white boy gonna come down and split the sky and that's it. No, because that's a lie within itself. We was taught this European God, but that's not exactly what it says. You see what I'm saying? We have been taught a lie, people. And what all I'm trying to do is bring us back to our true identity. You know what I mean? We have lost our true identity. You see what I'm saying? It's time for us to wake up out of sleep, because a lot of us are in a deep sleep right now. We are in a very, very, very deep sleep. And the Most High is trying to wake us up. That's why when you look in Job chapter 33, verse 1, Job explained that. He talks about that. about a deep sleep falling upon man. Job 33. You see what I'm saying? So the thing that we supposed to do is turn back to our the Most High God. You see what I'm saying? Now a lot of people say that the Most High don't separate. Let's see what the Bible says. In Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 7. Remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Now, why would he say consider the years of many generations? He said, remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. That means he don't want us to forget the things that have actually happened to our people. He said, remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee the elders, and they will tell thee. When the Most High divided unto the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bonds of the people according to the numbers of the children of Israel. Keep going back to them. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. The Lord's portion is his people. So he said he separated the sons of Adam. So the Most High had, right here, he separated us. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. Look what it says. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has not chosen thee to be the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So he said that our people, he said we will be above. Hold on, wait a minute. I done got you on camera. So that's all right, I ain't worried about it. I believe I did. Did I? Message retract. Oh, okay. I didn't even see the person in here. Okay, they must be done gone then. Yeah. So, yeah, he chose you to be a special people above all people. You see what I'm saying? So, I'm gonna stop it right here, people, and we'll come back and we'll talk later. But the video is entitled. I forgot what I named the video.